What's good, people? It's time for another book review. This one's a good one. I mean, a really good one. Drawing on the Right Side of the Brain by Betty Edwards. Now, when I was young, my family had this book in the bookshelf, right? It was already a known commodity, except to me, right? And I never really paid any attention to it. And it wasn't until I got into like maybe the 7th or 8th grade that the principles and applications in this book were taught to me in an art class when I was in middle school. And when I realized where she was getting the applications from, my art teacher, she was getting it from this book. And she was teaching it to her students. And we went from not very good, scribblers. I mean, some of us were really good, but most of the people weren't. But the ones who took it seriously got really good at drawing, colored pencils, stuff like that, even painting, sculptures, different stuff like that. I can't emphasize enough how important this book is if you're an artist. This has to be in your library. Now, the thing about this book is I already had it in my bookshelf. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't realize how good it was. It was sitting right in front of my face, for years and years and years. And once I took that art class in school and I had the book at home, I started reading it in depth and I really put the applications in depth. I used to be a really good drawer. I could draw very, very well, like flash art, tattoo art, stuff like that. All kinds of different stuff. I kind of got away from that. I kind of put down my paint palette for the longest time, and when I was really started lifting weights, and I kind of took emphasis on that. But if you're an aspiring artist, or if you're an artist already, and you don't know about this book, you just got to get it. It's a no-brainer. Some of the other applications that's really good in this book, and you might not even think about it, is say you're a tradesman and you work construction. You might think you won't need this book. This book's not for you. Wrong. Okay? The applications in this book can be put to use in trades, particularly in blueprints. When I was working in construction, I was doing blueprints and drawing up pictures and stuff. People were like, "Oh my God, you're such a good artist," And this is before CAD took over everything. Before everything got put on computer, people used to, I used to do it with a ruler. It was like a triangular shaped ruler, and you would flip it and have different measurements on there. I forget what it's called, but I used to use that, and I'd draw out schematics. I'd draw people's houses and stuff, decks, additions to their house, different where you put in your windows and your doors. When you're doing construction, you need to know this stuff, and you have to be good at it, because if people can't read your drawings, you're screwed. It's not as much as practice anymore because the CAD drawings are pretty much taken over, but if you're just doing rudimentary stuff, it's really good to be good at drawing. All right, and this is where this book comes in, because it teaches different things of it. It's really good for it's useful. It's a good tool for spacing and perception. Okay, if you've got that really good and down, you'll be good at construction when you're drawing stuff out and drawing schematics and different things like that. And it can be used in all kinds of different applications. All right. The one thing about this book that I did not like is that this is the 4th edition. Okay, this tells you how popular and how good this book is, because a lot of books, even though they might be good, they maybe get 1, 2 editions. This is the 4th edition. Okay, and there might be a 5th or a 6th. I don't know. I didn't check it out that much. But this one is good. Trust and believe this one's good. But I feel that the original, the 1st edition, was the best, because that's the one I had. It was in like a thin cover. This is a hardcover. But that's the one I had, and it really boiled it down to like the nuts and bolts and meat and potatoes of like drawing and spacing and seeing different stuff. It's really about using a different part of your brain. If it makes any sense to you describing that, because most people use the left side of their brain, and this teaches you how to draw on the right side of your brain, how to use the right side of your brain to do different things. And it's good for spacing and perception and shade. It doesn't really matter what you do, if you're painting, if you're drawing, If you're just using like the color charcoal shade, which I like a lot of people like that. It's really good at that. But you have to read the book and use the simple tools that it has. And so I would say if you're going to get a version of the book, get the first edition for your library. If you can get it new, I don't think you'll be able to get it new. Just get a used copy of the first edition and then go to the library and read up on the fourth edition. If you get the first edition and you start putting it into practice, that's all you really need. This is talking about different stuff, like more modern stuff, like how computers are screwing over, artists and stuff like that, and how, one-dimensional it is. The first book doesn't get into that because there weren't no computers back then, right? I mean, there were computers, but like they fit in a warehouse. It's not like today when you have a computer on your phone, you just click, 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 and swipe, or whatever, download this, download that. That wasn't in practice back then. So I would say get a used copy of the first edition. If you can get a new, slightly used, the newest version you can get it. Okay, I haven't looked on eBay or Amazon to check out and see what it has. I went and got this from the local library. They put it on hold for me. I came over and I was like, yo, cool, let's do a video. The best part about this book, Drawing on the Right Side of the Brain by Betty Edwards, is its simplicity. Okay, it's very, very simple. I can do it. I'm not exactly stupid, but sometimes I'm at the sharpest knife in the drawer. If I can do it, you can do it, right? Anybody can do it. And if you practice it and you put the applications in there and you do the lessons and you start seeing the way she wants you to see things, then you're going to take off. You're going to start doing good drawings. Forget the coloring books. I've seen these today, like older people my age are doing coloring books. I mean, you're clowns. Put down the coloring books, people. You grown-ass people. If you go do something like that, get some charcoal or some those really rubbery crowns, what I'm talking about. You can kind of like smear them with your fingers, what I'm talking about. Do some stuff like that and do some real stuff. Don't just color in the lines some schmuck gave you. You bought it at the store. Get some pencils and do some real stuff. You read this book, you'll learn how to do it, and you'll be amazed at how much progress you will make just by the sheer simplicity of her approach. This is one you got to get, people. I guarantee you will not be disappointed. Until next time, people. If you like this video, like and subscribe. Peace out.